Hi guys, welcome to HR Fundas and I'm Disha. In today's video, we are going to discuss about the HR Generalist profile. So who is the HR Generalist and what does he do? So HR Generalist is a person who handles almost all the HR activities in the organization and hence he is called the HR Generalist. So this totally depends on the kind of organization that you are working with. In smaller organizations, we mostly see that the employee strength is not much, and hence they have a team of HR who is basically all of them are generalists. And in bigger organizations where there are more employees, we see that there are a lot of HR specialists. So these will be people who are dedicatedly working towards recruitments or employee life cycle or employee engagement activities. So that's the basic difference between HR generalist and HR specialist. Now, who is HR generalist? So HR generalist is a person who handles a wide variety of HR functions or almost all the sub-functions within the HR department. He's not a specialist, but he's a jack of all trades. That means he's responsible for almost all the activities that happen inside the organization. And he or she will cover activities like recruitments, employee engagement, employee separation, leave management, compensation and benefits, employee well-being. So basically anything and everything which is happening inside the organization, a team of people will be handling it, and all of them are HR generalists. Now, what does the HR generalist do, or what is the job profile of the HR generalist person? So, the first one is recruitment, which is extremely important in every organization. Then comes the employee life cycle, employee relations, learning and development, and employee benefits. So now we'll see one by one what exactly is required to be done by the HR generalist in these sub-functions. So the first one is recruitment. So here the HR generalist will be preparing the recruitment, the annual manpower plan and the annual hiring plan. So what are the sources of recruitment that you are going to hire from, how many people are needed, and what category of employees are needed in this year. So accordingly the manpower plan will be made. Employer branding. So these are some activities that are carried out by the organizations to show the prospective candidates that they are the employer of choice. Then sourcing the candidates. So what all sources of recruitments are you going to look at, whether it is going to be campus recruitments, or you want to get some job portals on board, or you want to hire some consultants or employee referrals. So depending on the kind of people that you need and the number of employees that you need, you are going to allocate your budget accordingly. Then releasing the offer letters to the selected candidates and managing the employee onboarding process. So the entire from the moment you start looking for the candidates, then doing the interviews, rolling out the offer letters, and taking them on board, and then finally collecting all the relevant documents like the address proof, ID cards, ID proof, and then giving them whatever is the basic the laptops or the business cards, the ID cards and the basic stationery. So this entire thing comes under the recruitment profile. Now, employee life cycle. So as soon as the employee has done his onboarding or done the joining formalities, he's handed over to the HR operations manager. So in bigger organizations, there will be a different person who will now come into the picture and will manage the employee life cycle. However, if you are a generalist person, then you will continue to work with these employees till the time they are with the organization. So you will create their employee database, appraisals and salary increments or midterm appraisals as well. Maintaining employee records. So again, whatever documentation is done, apart from the joining formalities, there are a lot of letters for salary increments or appraisals or appreciation, or any disciplinary action has been taken. So all these things will have to be documented into the personal files of each and every employee. Employee separation and exit interviews. as well as their full and final settlement, releasing their experience letter, employee engagement activities. So this is something which takes up a lot of time and effort from all HR people, because this is a full-time job that you have to look after employees and keep them engaged. Succession planning. So I've just made a video on succession planning. You can have a look. This is basically done for all the key positions in the organization, wherein you look at them to fill the future roles and you train them accordingly. Then organizational structure. So this is a pictorial representation of who all are in the organization, who reports to whom, and how many employees are there in every organization, or which employee holds which position. So this gives you in one look, you can see who's placed in which position, and hence it saves a lot of time. And also it tells you that if you have to plan for the future, then if this person moves to another level, then who is going to come in this position, or you need to hire somebody new. So for all these kind of reasons, an organizational structure is important. Now let's look at employee relations. So managing the discipline within the organization, or laying out or establishing the code of conduct. So code of conduct is extremely important for every organization. You have to tell your employees what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. And in case they do not follow company policies, then what is the disciplinary action that will be taken against them. Then there is POSH, which is prevention of sexual harassment, misconduct investigation. So if something goes wrong, how are you going to conduct the investigations, and how are you going to deal with the employees who are wrong, or who have done something wrong, or the people who have been affected by someone else doing it. Employee termination on account of any of the misconducts, for example, theft or sexual harassment, or any other kind of a violation of company policies. So all these things will have to be managed by the generalist HR person. Also, in case you have unions, then even the unions will have to be managed by the HR people. Now, learning and development. So basically each and every employee within the organization needs some or the other training. So these will have to be, their training needs will have to be identified, and then you will have to prepare a training calendar which will be circulated to each and every person in the organization, so they know which trainings will be conducted when. You will also have to track their training man hours and prepare suitable reports for the management. You will also have to identify the training needs for the future and start working towards the training of these employees. So you need to identify those employees, identify what skills will be needed, and accordingly lay out the training plan. Now, employee benefits. So employee benefits are the extra added advantages that the employees get because they are working with your organization. So there are employee entitlements. So for example, if they're traveling, so do they travel by train, do they travel by taxi, do they travel by air, or do they where do they stay, what kind of hotels, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star hotels can they look at, what is the daily meal allowance. So all these things will have to be charted down, so that the employees are absolutely clear about what their entitlements are at their designation. Employee leave policy. So every state has its own leave policy. Some of them are mandatory and they have to be followed. So you have to make that available to the employees. Policies related to employee well-being. So you want to give them medical assistance like the Mediclaim and accident insurance, or you want to do some special, you want to put up a gym, or you want to do some yoga classes or Zumba classes. So whatever your company permits or whatever your employees need, that ways you will have to plan for them. Policies related to employee compensation and perks. So in addition to their compensation, what are the extra things or extra advantages, like some discounts they will get on company products, or anything else that you would want to give them in terms of perks, that needs to be defined. Employee compensation, you will have to do an yearly exercise of salary benchmarking, so you know whether you are paying your employees well, are you better than your competition, or if you are not, or not, because if you're not better than your competition, then very soon you will start losing out your best players to the competition. So salary benchmarking is a very important exercise. I have made a video on that as well. I'll put the link in the description box and you can watch that. Retirement benefits, so that would be PF, ESIC and gratuity. So these kind of benefits are very, very important. These are one of the important factors that employees consider while making a decision to join, and hence they should be at par with what the competition or the market offers. Now, how do you become an HR generalist? So there are three ways in which you can become an HR generalist. The first one is by doing a course, MBA course in HR, or moving from being a specialist to a generalist, or maybe moving from another department. So in bigger organizations, you have the flexibility to choose any of the departments of your choice. The smaller organizations might not have as many opportunities, but some organizations do give you that opportunity. Now, how much do they earn? So HR generalist is not a designation. Okay, so you can start as an HR generalist and you stay HR generalist for your full life. Like with me, I have started my career as an HR generalist only. I have never worked as a specialist. So you can join as an executive and then move up, or maybe you have worked as a recruitment executive and then later on over the number of years, now you have moved on to a generalist role. So there is there's no specific way in which you can become an HR generalist. So if you're an executive, that you might earn somewhere between 15 to 20,000 per month, but it also depends on the MBA institute that you have passed out from. Obviously, the good B schools will offer you better packages, and also it depends on the city that you're living in. A manager might earn somewhere between 50,000 to 1 lakh per month. AVP might earn 1 lakh to 1.5 lakhs per month, and the GM might earn somewhere between 1.5 to 2.25 or even 2.5 lakhs per month. So it totally depends on your organization, the role that you're handling, the financial soundness of your organization, and most importantly, how much is your experience and how good you are at handling that kind of a profile. Now, which one should you choose? Which one is better? Is it HR specialist or HR generalist? So it totally depends on what you want. What do you enjoy doing? So, for example, a lot of people enjoy being specialist in their area. So a lot of people are working with as recruiters or maybe as compensation and benefits person. So it totally depends on what you enjoy doing. Also, it depends on the size of operations of the company that you're working for and the company's budget for the department. So if the company is very tight on budget and they have given you only 3 people in the department, so you really don't have a choice to be a specialist. You will have to function like a generalist and do all the activities that you are asked to do. Now, being a generalist has its added advantage because you know the entire life cycle. You know how you source the candidate, you know how you do the onboarding, you know how do you handle the employees, and you know what happens when the employee has left. So this gives you a very good understanding of the employees that you are hiring. So it's always better to be in a generalist profile, because this will help you to grow in your organization as well. So this is what I wanted to share with you. I hope you will find this video useful. Thank you so much for watching, and bye bye.